The invisible blueprint. Most people believe they are the architects of their own lives. They believe their choices, their fears, and their goals are homegrown. But if you look closely at the cracks in your own psyche, you'll find a blueprint that isn't yours. You are living in a house designed by someone else's expectations, decorated with someone else's shame, and maintained by a guilt you never actually earned. Psychological control doesn't usually look like a cage. It looks like a helpful suggestion. It looks like family tradition. It looks like being a good person. We are born as raw marble, and before we can even hold the chisel, others begin carving into us. They shave down our boundaries to make room for their own needs. They etch their fears into our skin until we can't tell where we end and they begin. Today, we are going to deconstruct the three invisible pillars that hold up this architecture of control: the projection, the performance, and the debt. By the end of this journey, you won't just see the blueprint. You'll have the power to tear it down. The projection room. The first pillar is projection. This is the most common form of psychological identity theft. A projector is someone who cannot sit with their own internal rot. When they feel selfish, they call you greedy. When they are lying, they become obsessed with your honesty. They are using you as a screen to play a movie of their own flaws, just so they never have to look at themselves. Why does it work? Because you are empathetic. When they point a finger and say, "You are the problem," you look inward. You try to fix it. You argue. You explain. But you cannot win an argument with a mirror. Every second you spend defending your character to a projector is a second they aren't spending taking responsibility for theirs. You are essentially doing their emotional laundry for them. The cure for projection is non-engagement. You must realize that their accusations are actually self-disclosures. When they call you crazy for having a boundary, they are actually telling you, "I am threatened by your independence." Stop clearing your name in a court where the judge is the criminal. The performance trap. The second pillar is the performance trap. This is for the gifted child, the reliable friend, the perfect employee. You learned early on that love was conditional. You weren't rewarded for being, you were rewarded for doing. You became a master of the mask, a curated version of yourself designed to get a standing ovation from people who don't actually know you. The cost of this performance is total exhaustion. You feel like a fraud because you are a fraud. Not because you lack talent, but because you are playing a character. You are a high-achieving ghost. You have a resume, but you don't have a soul. You are so busy being good that you've forgotten how to be real. To break the performance, you must embrace the courage to be disliked. The moment you stop performing, the audience will leave. This is a good thing. The people who only love the mask were never your people. Let the silence of the empty theater be the place where you finally meet yourself. The emotional ledger. The final pillar is the emotional ledger. This is the dark side of kindness. Have you ever had someone throw a favor from 5 years ago in your face the moment you said no? That wasn't a favor. It was a down payment on your future compliance. Some people keep a list of their sacrifices like a debt collector keeps a file. They want you in a state of perpetual thank you, because a grateful person is a controllable person. The trap here is the feeling of owing someone your life because they gave you yours. But listen closely. Care is not a contract. If they held it over your head, it wasn't love. It was leverage. You are allowed to close the account. You are allowed to be ungrateful if the price of gratitude is your sanity. The sovereign mind. Breaking these pillars is painful. It feels like a death because it is. It's the death of the version of you that everyone else liked. But on the other side of that death is sovereignty. A sovereign mind doesn't ask for permission to exist. It doesn't defend itself against projections. It doesn't perform for applause. And it doesn't pay debts it never signed for. The chisel is finally in your hand. What kind of life are you going to carve? If you're ready to stop being a statue in someone else's museum and start being the architect of your own soul, join us. We deconstruct these architectures every week. If you're reclaiming your mind today, tell the world you're ready. Stand your ground. Stay grounded.